All right, there's two types of classifications that you may be asked, and that's classified by the number of terms and classified by degree. So as far as number of terms go, a monomial has how many terms? So an example of a monomial could be something like 3x, could be negative 5x squared, it could just be a constant, negative 5. All of those represents individual terms that form your expression, and so it's a monomial. There's only one term. Two terms is a binomial.
What is a term then?
A term is separated by a plus or minus. So a binomial is going to have, again, you look at the prefix, two terms. So a binomial would be something like 3x minus 5. So now that expression has two different terms in it. Again, the powers could be higher, so it could be x to the fourth minus x squared. That's an example of a binomial. Could be 2x squared plus 1. So those are examples of binomials. They're an expression formed or polynomial formed with only two terms. Trinomial, again, when you look at the prefix, is three terms. So again, if you're looking at something like x squared minus 3x plus 2, this would be an example of a trinomial. It has three terms. Again, the power can be larger as well. And so anything with three individual terms separated by the plus or minus is going to be considered a trinomial. Anything beyond that is just considered a polynomial. So four or more terms, because poly is a prefix that means many. And so it's just many terms for this. And so again, if you're looking at a polynomial, something like this would be an example. You have four different terms that make up that polynomial. And now, when you're talking about degrees, the classification by degree has to do with the highest term when written in standard form. So when you're looking at so all of these examples that I wrote out here are written in standard form. Remember, standard form simply means you're starting with the highest power and then reducing it to the lowest power. Right, so if you're looking at degrees, this right here, what is the highest power of this leading coefficient? It'll be the leading term or the first term in standard form. And what is the power of this variable? 1, right? It's an unwritten power of 1. Okay, so a first degree term is going to be of the form, so I'm going to call it bx. Okay, b represents some coefficient and x to the first power. And it might have multiple terms. Okay, so it might be bx plus c, and where c is some constant. And now, if you take an example like this, what is the highest power of x in this term? 0. So you could have a 0 degree term. That's if all you have is your constant c. And you can have a second degree term. If you're dealing with a second degree term, ax squared plus bx plus c. Again, what you're looking at is which of these. So here would be an example where the highest degree term is a 2. Here would be another example. Highest degree term is a 2. Here would be another example. So you see here that the second degree classification can be a monomial, a binomial, or a trinomial. Do you think it can be anything beyond a trinomial? The highest power is 2. If the highest power is 2, the next power lower than that is 1, the next power lower than that is 0. Can you go negatives and still have a polynomial, negative powers? Remember, the powers in a polynomial, the powers of the variable in a polynomial has to be non-negative, non-negative integer, or a whole number. It could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So a second degree, at most, can be a trinomial, but it can also be binomial or monomial. And then you just look, again, this pattern continues. Third degree would be an example like this. Fourth degree would be an example like this. Fifth degree would be an example like this. Okay, so you have different possibilities of classifying by degree. Okay, now, these first three, let me go through third degree here. Okay, so a third degree. The other name for a 0 degree is called constant. The other name for a first degree polynomial is a linear form. The other name for a second degree polynomial is what we're doing right now, which is quadratics. For a third degree, cubic. Fourth degree is a quartic. And anything beyond that isn't going to have any special name assigned to it.